differences and similarities in the way people use things on websites. Right now, the bounce rate is at 15.56. I am mystified currently by this website because before this it had like a bounce rate of 1 or 2, and that's like unheard of. So I'm like, okay, how is this being done? So that's my current conundrum. So if anybody wants to solve my problems, come talk to me afterwards, please. I'm sure I'll figure it out. And then the percentage of new sessions. So this is of the people that are coming and visiting, how many of them are new users versus how many of them are old users. So 25% of this website are coming back. They like it. They're coming back for more. Awesome. 75%, we have potential to win them over. That's great too. So there's really not a good metric for that. Of like, man, I really need a certain percentage of new users before I'm happy. Like, it just is. I think that's one of the things you have to get used to when you track your analytics. This is just the current state. It's kind of like when you look at your bank account and it's not so awesome. You're like, you know what? This is just the current state of affairs. It can always go up. So, so in any case, that's kind of this first main page that you're going to get spot out onto. And this is the first report, so you can see all kinds of different data traffic patterns. You can see how he always gets like a lot of peak on Mondays and Tuesdays. I'm like, oh, the first 3 weeks really good for you. We should launch your website on Friday so we can not break it when there's less users. And then on Monday, by the time we got it rocking and rolling, because I've been working on it all freaking weekend, then we're going to have all these awesome users. And then Monday after that, you're going to launch out an email blast and send 7,000 subscribers of your email newsletter to your website. That's next Monday. I'll tell you on Tuesday how it went. We should be good. Should be good. I never had I've had clients that I've had agency clients that had like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but not things. That's a whole other milestone. So, but what I'm trying to say here is on the sidebar, you have so many other options here. You can do like cool dashboards where you can have your own widgets. You can do all kinds of things. What you really need to know, you can skip these 4 first tabs until you're like a little bit better. You're like, okay, I got my footing, I understand what I'm looking at here. The tabs that you want to look through are the audience, the acquisition, the behavior, and the conversions. And so if you aren't tracking Google goals, you're not going to have a conversions. Well, you'll have a conversions tab, but it'll look quite empty. All right, so you will see that there are no goal conversions, none, sad. And then all of a sudden I set up no conversions, and look, we have goal conversions now. People who are actually doing things on our website. We didn't know. Well, we knew, but we didn't know. So let me talk to you a little bit about that. So you're like, okay, you're still, half of you, I'm just introducing you to analytics, or you kind of knew what you didn't know, and now you're seeing it for the first time. You're like, charts, yay. But when you start seeing it go up and up and up, you're like, oh, I'm doing something and it's working. Then all of a sudden the chart will have their immediate conclusions. Like, oh, this is awesome. I like the fact that I get data information. So when I say conversion, all that means is somebody did something that I wanted them to do on my website. That's it. So what's a conversion?
Somebody did something on your website that you wanted them to do.
Great. Drew's got it. Who else has got it? You got this? Makes sense now, right? You're like, conversion. Oh yeah, I'm converted. No, you're just doing whatever. Thank you. But that's really all that is that connection there. And you have like a softer conversion where it's like they're signing up for my email newsletter. So they haven't bought anything from me, but they're still giving me contact data to where I could reach out to them and offer them something. So it's not necessarily like, oh, full conversion, but it's halfway there. It's soft. It's like, okay, you spent more than 2 minutes on my website. You saw something you liked, or hey, you looked at more than 2 pages. Yay! We're winners. Bounce rate go down. Yes. So all that junkiness that I just went through. Bounce rate is when somebody goes to your website for the first time, or not necessarily the first time, anytime. They go to your website, they look at one page, they leave. They didn't look at another page, they didn't look at 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages. They looked at one, they're like, this is alright. See you later. Which is alright. I mean, they looked at one. But how quickly they bounce out, it's really a question of, did you really describe that properly? When I'm on a Google search result and I'm looking for something or someone, have you ever had a bad search result experience where you click into something, you're like, this is going to be awesome, this is going to solve all my problems, and then you get on it and you're like, this is not at all what you said it was going to be. And it's like spammy ads, and it's like asking if you want to download something that you're afraid of now, and you're like, I just want to get out of here, Google, what the heck? That's the experience that Google does not want to have. And so they take your bounce rate very seriously when they're trying to rank you as far as the number of pages and where you should fall in those search results. They say, did anybody else find this irrelevant and not useful? All right, well, I guess they're irrelevant and not useful since 120 of the 140 people that went there bounced. The other 20 clicked on it and then took a cigarette break and do session out. There's some silliness. But in any case, they didn't like what they saw, and so people went to lower. So it's good to know, how often are people searching for you, and then how often are they clicking on you, and how often are they actually doing what you want them to do on their website, right? Because that's the whole point. That's why we have websites, for people to read them, or use them, and do something with them, right? So who here has a conversion point, like a place that they want somebody to do something on the website?
Contact form.
Sign up for a workshop. Or confirmation pages. You guys have gotten better about that, by the way. Thank you. Anything else? What else could be a conversion, or be considered conversion? I'm converted.
Link to an article.
Link to an article? Okay, came in from a link, or made a link to your article, or
Intended link on the site that you have.
What's that?
Intended link, like a blog post that you wanted people to.
Okay, so they link to your blog post?
Yeah.
Awesome. So now you're getting new traffic from a referral, right? All right, so new traffic. Oh, sweet. See, I'm so glad you're around. This is why I use you. This is why I call home. All right, so let's talk about that real quick. So we just talked about how people can find you, right? So somebody linked you to your website. Sweet. So the way you find that is if you go to acquisition, how you acquire visitors, right? Someone with acquisition. I acquired them. And then you're going to go to all referrals, which is going to show you everybody that referred you someone. So another website, link to your website, referral. All right. So here we see that Stumble Upon is a really awesome thing for you to be a part of. 225 visitors. 92% of those were new sessions, new users. They've never been there before, which is great because we're meeting lots of new people that we didn't know before. It's like going to that, well, it's like some of you newbies tonight, right? You're going to creeping out and you're like, all right, I'm going to go to this strange place and these people are going to talk about things that I don't understand, and I'm going to be okay. And that's what meeting people on your website's kind of like. You know all these new visitors. You're like, I don't know if you like what I have, but I hope so. You'll notice though that their bounce rate's 16%, which really should be higher. Right? You're normally looking at anywhere between 30 to 50%, usually. What I see is some I don't know, the 60%. He's got magic content or something. So I need to look into that. But in any case, they do have a higher bounce rate than, per se, these 29 people that came from Facebook that had a bounce rate of 0.00%. So all of them stuck around for 2 pages. So I can tell you right now that yes, you get a lot of people coming from StumbleUpon, but the quality of visitor coming from Facebook way higher. Didn't know that if I didn't have to run Wix. Just didn't know. You're like, oh, I don't know, I social link all these because they tell me to do all of them, so I do all of them. Well, if you had this, you could say, okay, I get these many websites, and these websites come back to me. People come back to me on this channel. I'm going to spend my time here because this is valuable. And you can say that, and you can back it up. Isn't that awesome? That's awesome. And I can do it for free. I love you, people. But in any case, that's what we're talking about, referrals and all that. Any questions so far? Google Analytics rocks, right?
So for conversion of
Okay.
So for conversion tracking, do you need to embed specific code to track a specific type of conversion, or does Google automatically do that for you from your account?
So the answer is yes and no. So yes, you could technically track those in here. Like if I had a contact us, well, I could do it right now for you. So I could track this goal. So we've got a goal here. We saw this in conversions here. We've got this goal, and it's looks like we had 2 shop orders and 1 sent contact form. So I'm going to say contact form, okay? I want to find the conversion rate of that. All right. So if I were to do this manually, which you can do, it's just a pain in the neck. You can totally go to behavior and go under segments and look under all pages and then search for thank you. And you've got a contact us thank you page. We know that one person went on that page. Therefore, one person must have filled out my contact form and went on that 2 page, right? Awesome. That's great. But did you see how that manual, like thinking and typing ahead of time? That's dumb. We don't want to do that. Let's automate it. Okay. So that's why we use goals. So to set up a goal, and this is what I really wanted to talk about today, so I'm very glad that you got us here, is so to actually set up goals, if you've got the analytics set up, now you're going to set up the next level, right? You've got your admin panel here, and it's going to have your account, your property, and your view. You're going to be going to look for one magical word called goals. Once you get there, then you want to set a new goal. Here, I should totally make you do this. All right.
Got 20 on this
So in any case, so this is really the point in which you have to start thinking, okay, what is it that I wanted to track? Oh yeah, I wanted to track contact form, right? Well, what you're going to select here is going to differ and change based on what you want to track. There's actually 4 different types of goals here. There is the destination page, which is an actual page on the website, like a thank you page that people land on, and then once they're there, you know, okay, I've gotten a conversion because it went to that thank you page, right? Destination is pretty easy to understand. Then you've got duration, which is how long. So if you want to measure how long someone stayed on the website, like on my current website, I've got a tracking on there. I want to see anybody that stayed over a minute as a conversion. I think that if you stay there a minute, I definitely either confused you or did something because you're still here. But we hope you found something you like and you're actually reading it and enjoying it and putting on something else, right? Which there's also a conversion. But so there's duration, destination, or destination duration, and then the third one is yes. Well, there's events, and then there's I know it. I do. I just can't tell everybody this instant. Yes, that's right. Pages and screens per section. I knew that. um, yeah, so there's pages and sessions per pages per session. So if I wanted to track, they looked at 2 pages and they're not about similar, I would consider that conversion. Okay. It's a soft conversion. They haven't bought anything from me, but at least I know that I've got that percentage of people doing something that I want them to do, which is stick around for at least 2 pages. So this is actually a really handy chart that I made 5 minutes ago, so I'm glad it's there. But like it's got here on the notes, basically, just are you searching a location, a session, the number of streams, or an event? This event thing is tricky. It's a tricky character, this event thing. He's new in town, which makes you volatile. Events are new. And I say new in my career with Google, which is a long time, long time, because we started hanging out with a team, which makes me an Uber geek. But in any case, an event is relatively new within the last couple of years, and what this event thing is when you don't actually go to another page, but you do something on the website. So let's say I click the play button on a video that's embedded and I'm watching it. The page shouldn't reload when I do that. So Google considers that an event. Okay? So anything on a page that you're doing is not causing the page to flicker and go to another page. The URL isn't changing up there. There isn't any, if you notice that you're on a different section, you're just clicking buttons or you're filling out a contact form, and it just pops up a little thing that says, thank you for your contact, but it doesn't actually take you to a new page, because that's the tricky one for the beginners in the room. If your first goal is, I want to see who picks up my contact form, and then you start tracking it as a destination when it's really just a little piece of Ajax JavaScript popping up a little thing and it doesn't load page view, then you're like, oh, well, how do I make it load page view? And then you're like, oh, no, I gotta force it to load page view. Okay. All right, or I could track it as an event. All right, so that's an option now. But that's the one that's tricky. Because if you're not familiar with code, you're not familiar with how websites work or reload and things like that, you don't necessarily know what you're looking for until you realize that, oh, okay, that flicker thing that it does, that's the reload about it. So it takes some finesse, I think. But you'll get it. Eventually you'll be like, why won't this reload? No. But in any case, so let me pop back over here. So basically, it's got these new things for templates, and basically it's asking you, what do you want to track? Do you want to track if someone bought tickets, registered online, bought merchandise, donated, created an account, submitted content? I could ask all these questions, or I could say custom, right? So let's say I'm tracking this contact form, and I want to say, okay, I have a contact form, and I want them to consider them. It's not submitted content, it's something else. But honestly, it's
This new?
yes. The template is brand. I know, I hate it. I'm like, give me my clear freaking labels back. So it's not registered online. It's not clear content. Submit content. Oh, not really. This is why this is hard. So I'm not liking this, dude. I don't like it. We need to go back.
We do custom for
Yeah, so we'll just play with this. So that's a custom because it might be for somebody who use their silly attributes. They can remind an old thing back. So I want to give it a cool description. And this particular contact form, I want to say, let's actually do some work over here, right? So we're going to set up so we've got a page on the website that does client registration, and then when they get done, they go to a destination page. So we'll see that. Right, so I've named my goal. Yay! Objective number 1 done. All right, so they give you like some really nice snippets here. It says destination example, things.html, duration 5 minutes or more, pages per session, like 3 pages, events, play video. So they give you some examples. This is a destination page. All right, so then it gives you these extra options under 3. So it says, all right, so the first one is, what's the destination? So what is the end point of this end game? Like, what's the end game? I want them to land on the thank you page for the client registration, right? That's my end game. Yeah? All right, so now I gotta find that cost. I'm not good at the live typing things, so quit watching. I always felt like a year building this thing. I think I know. Schedule, like thank you. Got it. Okay. See, this is what happens. 1 moment. That's the old Steve. Sorry, that's not going to work. You're going to have to go through this too. So you know you're not going to remember URL either. Lots of times. And this is actually a good example because I'm going to actually show you how you force the page. So I force this particular, it's a gravity form. How many of you guys use gravity forms? They're pretty awesome, right? All right, so this is this coaching client registration form. And so if I go under settings and confirmations, and if you use gravity forms, you can totally do this. You can have a default confirmation, and inside of it, it's going to give you 3 different options. I can say text, which is that Ajax recall that we talked about. So if I want to track this as an event, I could probably do it, but I don't care. I don't like it done that much. I like page views. Just try to be easy for me, but that's my personal feeling about the whole thing. But in any case, so this is the text setup. So it's going to do a little Ajax call right after they finish the contact form. It's going to pull up some text, but it's not actually going to refresh the page. So if I were trying to find some magical page, I couldn't. You could also set it up as a page and have it actually connect to a actual page on your WordPress website, and then it would be totally validated destination goal, just like you have set up on your MTBDC. You guys actually set those up. It's like, wow, you actually set the whole page up. Wow. Yeah, so, and then you can do a redirect. So once they finish the form, then they're redirected to another page. But you can still consider that a destination page, because once they get there, it's going to be bam. They're on that page, they're tracking it, therefore they finish that goal. So I've actually forced this by this little tiny piece of script right here. This little piece of JavaScript. Don't have to be scared. It's got some little bracketed tags around it, so you oh, it's okay. Just don't delete it all. Watch for your paper. It's pretty, yeah, that's it. So it gives you, and this is what's changed for you guys running analytics asynchronous. Most of your goal tracking, if you're tracking destination pages, you're trying to force destination pages like this. They've changed the syntax. I use the word syntax, I'm so deep. They changed the way that the code is called, because you used to have to do like underscore page views, bracket. You don't have to do that anymore. They cleaned it up a lot. So I just put in this little piece that says, hey, when you get to this piece and they show this confirmation page, what I want you to do is send Google Analytics a page view for the page, and this is this amazing URL that I was looking for. It was, thank you, look at that. I was right all along. I should have trusted my judgment. Alright, so we're going back to Google Analytics here. And I'm going to paste this right into the magic thing. And Carol was actually with me when I wrote this little piece of handy advice. Don't use equals to on the destination. Use begins with. Because if anything randomly appends to that URL, then it doesn't track it anymore. Because we were working with a client, and they had this amazing little system that not only redirected them to the final conversion page, but also appended this really awesome long string of unique parameters, which we could never possibly assume. And so we were like, okay, all right. And we get past this one. Begins with, oh, hey, it's right there in the dropdown. Imagine that. So that's it. That's really all you have to set up. Bare bones minimum. You want to track this goal. That's it. Like, what kind of do you want to track? And setting up the tracking correctly. If it's a destination page, it's literally just copying and pasting the URL into wherever that destination goes. At this point, I would be considered donezo enough. Now, I'm going to show you two little pieces, particularly on the destination goals, that are super helpful. One is the value. If you can get someone on your team to state a value, and this is very hard, I've tried very many times, on what a lead would be for you, or if a client is registering as a client, what's the value of that in dollars and cents? If you put that in this little box, it does something amazing. It actually starts tracking every single page they looked at when they got on the website to when they converted, and you start giving value to each of those pages. So you can start saying, okay, these pages helped get this guy to convert, therefore they're valuable. I'm going to keep those. So adding this value, super helpful, especially when it comes to, like, let's say 6 months from now, I want to completely redesign my website. And then I know these are my top 20 pages that people who buy something from me or do something with me look at. So these are sticking around. These are my favorite children. And then these other people that don't have a bunch of zeros and a bunch of balance looking, I'll just get rid of those. So that's what you can actually make that data-driven decision at that point. So that's why values helpful. Yeah. And even if it's a really crappy value, like I have a client right now that we're going through their printing company, and they were like, well, we think that everybody that uploads is worth $350. It's like, really? $350? Like, every single time? You know, what about that guy that, like, asked for quote that didn't? Take it out. Then what you do is you take those guys that converted, right? They bought something or they contacted you from the contact form, and you say, hey, sales guy that actually closed the sale, how many of these did you actually close, and what were the actuals? If you can get your actuals for like just a month, you can have better accuracy on what that value actually is, because then you start getting into like, oh, okay, so we had 16 people contact us, we had 6 of them follow through, and their average value was X number of dollars, therefore this is now my value for what this is. But until you start tracking what I think it might be against what you think it really is, then you're not going to have that. So go ahead, put a value on it, you know, just put a price on it, be like, all right, everybody that contacts me will $50. You know, and then come back, you know, 6 months later and be like, okay, I had these 6 people contact me. How much business did I really do? And then you can get all kinds of crazy with it, because, you know, some of you guys have probably like memberships or recurring fees that you would go through with a client. Well, then you're talking about a cost per, you know, time applied, you know, because not only did that contact, you know, get you that initial sum, but, you know, now they're paying you a monthly subscription fee because they're a software as a service type of thing, whatever. And so you're getting initial revenue off of that one contract. But you can get crazy with numbers, but just know the value is very helpful. And then the second part here is the funnel. And this is super helpful as well because you can actually start tracking how people fall into the cycle. So you could say, okay, they got to my homepage for my shopping cart, they got to a product page, they added the product to the cart, but then they left. Okay? And you start seeing, a number of those people have a problem with this. You can start saying, okay, is there something wrong with the cart page? Because they're all leaving like a cart. And then you look at the page and then there's a giant border and you're like, oh, that's why it sucks because it's broken. But it's things like that if you happen to have that little piece of data kind of poking at you and being like, hey, I'm not converting and I'm losing people. So let me go through one. I'll go through one quick example. See what I see. Oh wait, I didn't see this. Do I have? Yes, I do have a. I do have a funnel. And these two still really mess with me. I've tried a couple of times where I've set up goals and then check them back in a couple of days when I have 5 conversions and it's not converting at all. It's because I have, I think the screen/page should be the URL, but that's actually what you want the name to be, and they want the name to be the actual URL. I'm like, okay, all right, but that's what it is. It says use an app stream name string for website URL for each step. So the URL actually goes in the name, which you'll be like, why isn't that the page? And then this is actually the let's say client registration form, so that we have something here. And so you just want to name those for each step. So you've got your main product page or your main cart page, and then you've got a single product page that starts like product / something or other. And then you get them to the cart, then you get them to the checkout page, then they go to PayPal, then they come back and hit the thank you page. Yay, you've got a conversion. So you can go through all these different funnels. And originally I was like, oh yeah, this is totally required. This little awesome thing will actually get you not so much awesome data. If it's wrong and people can connect with that final end game a different way, like let's say I went to a product page, then I went to my cart, and then I went back out to the product page, and then I went back into, and then I just clicked checkout from the main menu. If I had these sets required that you had to go to the cart page and then you had to go to the checkout page, then if it's not in that exact order, it's not even tracking. If we just say check out on the home navigation, now it just says, oh, that guy didn't convert. You did. So go ahead and leave that say required now.
I had them switch, seriously.
I'm telling you.
I had 2 goals not tracking, and I was like, why are they tracking?
Why are they tracking? And you could always say like verify this goal. Oh yeah, I should probably put value on this. I'll just say $300 because it's hourly or it's $300. I was like, oh really? All right, so that's how we set a goal. So thank you very much for getting me there. Let me pop over real quick. I think I've got like 5 minutes or less than that. Yes?
Yeah, probably about 5 minutes.
So this one is a mutual client, Carolyn House.
That's the one I just finished.
I know. Like, yes. So, but I really like this because we can actually start seeing, I think we've got some comments now, right?
Yes.
So we've got this 7-day pass landing page, and then they go to that's weird. So yes, landing page. Oh, because you had it switched.
I had it switched. That's the one I just fixed.
Right. So do you see how she's like getting like entrances on both sides here? If she had that track to require these guys, it wouldn't even be tracked. you'd be like, oh, those aren't conversions because they didn't come exactly the way you asked them to. So it's good to say not required because then you've got all these guys too. But we can see that once they hit that landing page, then they go into the in touch form, they get a thank you page, therefore they've successfully converted, we now have their contact data in their firstborn, and they can be a client of ours. And so this goal has a conversion rate of 6.25%. So that's actually pretty good. I don't know, maybe the Google guy can tell me differently, but I from my PPC days, my pay-per-click days, and my SEO days, anything over 2%, you did good, kid. Keep working on it, but you did good. If you don't have a 2%, start thinking, okay, why is that not 2%? And the way that tracked is basically, we took these 51 people, and we said, okay, of all, I think it's 128 over 59, I think it's all of them. It would be way less. But basically, these 51 people that did convert over the 120 that came, what percentage of that? So we had 8 people convert. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, that's goals and conversions in a nutshell. And now you actually know where to find your conversion rate. So John's going to tell you how to optimize for it, so you can make it better. Any questions, concerns? Was I just completely, absolutely boring? It's okay. Yeah? All right.
I have a question. I know we mentioned Simalt earlier.
Small.
And I was restarting the
Google
whatever.
layout.
And so I dismissed it. So I got a small site that I'm helping somebody with, and their traffic is completely overwhelmed by Simalt, and so their time per page is like nothing.
Yeah, because
How do
what
you-
the
how do
small
you block
spot
it?
does is it hits your website, and it instantaneously counts as a bounce, and it counts as a 0-second bounce.
Right.
So,
Does anybody
yeah,
know?
it's
Did
pretty
you mention a way to overcome that or
Yes.
block it?
Yes.
there
You
is
can
a way.
exclude
Go
it.
to computerhelp.glearner.com/SEMALT.
What's that?
That's his website.
That's my website. Exactly how to
you
do it
can-
forever.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can
I mean, that's-
exclude it from admin.
Yeah,
In a
and not just
filter.
clicking the button for the bots, like don't check bots.
Oh,
I think that does it, but I couldn't be for certain.
So yeah, but that's just going to hide it. You're still going to come and source your data and report it to your competitors. So make it so that your site, they will not be able to take your content and get it to
what direction would you go?
HTTP access. If you
For that.
and if, like, if you're going to get really deep, just walk me through HTTP access.
Okay.
Our developers do that.
Yeah.
Don't play with your HTTP as well.
Unless you know what it stands for, people. You do not know what the acronyms mean, back out slowly. But yeah, that's Google goals. You were saying about, I just wanted to show people what they were seeing on the small stuff. Because I think we're still talking about
Yeah, I was trying to set up a filter, and it wasn't like I followed a couple of. Everyone says to do the same thing, add a filter and just filter out that domain, but
Yeah, but if you
they're not
block it, then
filtering it. Like it's still showing up.
So anyways, if you go in here, so you'll see it. It'll be awesome. It'll be like a bunch of people that spent over 100% new sessions, but they looked at one page and they spent absolutely no time on your website. That's a bot, everyone. You're getting a lot of hits from the same place all the time, and it's 0 time, and they bounce, and it's 100% bounce rate. That's a bot. And it's hitting your website for whatever reason, whether it's to scrape data or take it in, I don't know. But it's not a person. Not a real human being. But yeah, so it's good. It's good to come in here and check out your referrals, because then you start noticing things like that. You're like, hey, you need to get that guy out of there. Let's kick him out. And then you feel all powerful when you do, right? Kick you out. My domain. But in any case, I'll get off the mic now. But if you have any other questions, or Therese.
So I don't know how I missed this.
Sure.
But the one thing that I really, this is all great and wonderful, and thank you so much. But the one thing I really wanted to know is, how do you set this up to begin with?
Okay, so you go to your plugins, you add you've got the plugin. We'll get through it. I can help you with your site because I built your website, David.
No, for Marks, but
okay,
yeah, that's
so basically, you go into your I would download the plugin Yoast SEO, or not Yoast SEO, Google Analytics. Yeah, Google Analytics by Yoast. And literally, he asks you for a UA code. When you first sign up, it gives you it in big bold letters at the top. But if you don't know where that is, you can totally go here and go to property settings, and this little tracking ID that they have here. Literally, you just copy and paste that. You say, I want to use the universal tracking, and you're off to the races.
So you go to Google Analytics and you go to your website and you get this and you put this in your
exactly, because they're two separate sections, so they have to start talking to one another. And so the way Yoast sets up the API access for you, they just need your user ID so that they can connect to the right user account. And so you just
this is just automatically generated
by Google when you sign up for an analytics account.
So you just use your Google account.
And you can track anything. You can track an HTML site, you can track a WordPress site, you can track a Google site. Doesn't matter. Google Analytics will track.
Oh, so I can do this on that wonderful other site.
Yeah, you can do it everywhere if you want to. Track all the things.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Oh.
I had a question about the conversion rate. So you had two different paths that a person could take to reach a certain goal. Was that rate coming out of the total number of people from either path that had started on that cycle and then reached the goal, or I'm not sure.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I honestly don't really answer that off the top of my head, whether it would be a percentage of the people that started at the top of the funnel, or whether it would include those people at the bottom. I would assume it would include them at some point. Now, whether it includes them in that middle number or the number down below, that's another question. So I will do some math and get back to you next. I said I'd never use math again, and then I got into this stuff. I was like, oh, wait a minute. All right, thanks, guys.
So is everyone properly overwhelmed with the data? It's so funny because I am a data geek as well. I love getting in here and diving deep, but I think that it's maybe not for everyone. But there's so much value in everything that she talked about as to knowing what's happening. So as she told us about how we can see now if there's a goal that's converting. We can see if someone's clicking on something. But what if it's not doing well? What if it's below 2%? What if it's on a page and we don't, it's not doing well, and we want to figure out how to fix that and how can we make it better? And that's what John's going to talk to us about in the next segment. And he's going to do what we call conversion rate optimization. And so you can Google that, and there's a lot of great blog posts that show how, in fact, we did some A/B testing just recently on an ad that was running in AdWords. And one would think that a picture of a person for a health club who was standing on scales and looking so excited and happy because they are so trim and fit, you would think that that would convert more. But we compared it for kicks and grins to another image that did not have someone standing on scales, and it had just a powerful, a little bit more attention to the call to action. Guess which one won? The call to action without the picture. But we didn't know that.
I think it's because they're all jealous of the fact that she's too fit on the scale.
And it doesn't look like her. It didn't look like, that's not me. I'm not going to go to that gym because that's not what I look like. And so again, this is like taking that information, figuring out how much, how much is this converting, And then how can we make this convert it better? So John's gonna walk us through some awesome tips and tricks and tools on how to make conversion optimization a reality for you.
What's A/B testing?
A/B testing means you have one version and you have another version, and let's see which one wins. Let them fight it out.
I don't think the mic is on.
But it's still not fun.
But she looks really good.
I know. Yeah, you look very official.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Amazing.
It's good practice.
Is it not on anymore?
Well,
No, I'm sitting here.
Proximity.
Doesn't everybody stand up for a second?
Good idea.
What was the name of that ID?
You did great.
So Marcus, how you doing? Everything going well? You busy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I turned off the That's what you did standing desk often.
No, it's like it's this TED Talk that I watched. Apparently, your body language before you go and have a conversation with your person makes a big difference. How you like your physiology and your brain chemicals play a big role in how other people perceive you. So if, before you have like a heated conversation, you have to go talk to a client, and it's going to be confrontational. You stand like as big as you can. Like it's like you were fighting a bear, and just the act of doing it changes your brain chemistry, and so you'll be more
Powerful.
It only works if one of us do it. We can't all. I'm bigger than all.
We're all powerful. We have a power struggle.
Leave it to the short guy to the
I'm
brain
hungry.
chemistry to be more
Can we
powerful.
just go to
Okay.
Now I'll turn on the mic. Now it started for real.
I want y'all to know that I had a client meeting today, and I wore my geeky shirt, my geeky data testing shirt to my client meeting because I was coming here tonight.
Yeah.
Like, this was way more important than my button-up shirt. Welcome.
Can you hear me like this or like this? Either way, okay. So my name is John.
I work at Skyward Marketing, which, as I said before, is a design and development company in Mesa. State in the 60. We've got 3 full-time developers, and I do design, and project manager, and sales guys. We organized 2012. We're in 2012 here. We've been around, so we like WordPress, and we like the community, and we like being involved. So this is cool, and we're grateful to everybody who is involved in consistently making this happen and making Phoenix kind of a known spot for WordPress and WordPress community. So, props. And I am going to talk about conversion optimization. I'm going to talk about, I got about halfway here, and I was like, oh, you know what, I should talk about 6 other things. So some of them made it into my slide deck before I spin up and submit. So, I will pontificate briefly on data and conversion optimization, and then we'll talk about specifically some examples of people who have done that well and people who have done that poorly and learned from it, and then hopefully some best practices that you and will make a difference for you and the way you build websites. So David Ogilvy is kind of a jerk. I don't know if you guys have read any of the stuff that he wrote. He's like the most pompous man ever, as far as I'm concerned. In the front plate of his book, he's got a picture of the castle that he sat in while he wrote the book, and he talks about how he got to sit in the castle. Like that's
He
his.
was jealous.
I am. Well, I'm certainly jealous. I do want to do those things, but I won't put a picture of the castle. But David Ogilvy became famous in the 50s and 60s, right? And he was one of these original madmen. But one of the things that he said consistently, and one of the reasons that I think he's worth listening to, is because he was this ad guy, and you know that those guys were like, they thought a lot of themselves, right? And they thought that their ideas were just great, and their clients should listen to their ideas because their ideas are great. And I'm sure no one in this room, yeah, right. None of us would ever say that or think that. But he had science to back up some of the stuff that he said. So when copywriters, his junior copywriters would come in and show him an ad layout that that he knew wouldn't work because he had tested it, he would say that to them. He would say, well, but I'm an artist and I want to do it this way. And he would say things to them like, well, you're stealing from your clients if you don't do it the right way, if you don't do it the scientifically proven way. So things like, one of his big things was don't do inverted text. Don't do light text on a dark background. This all print magazines, right? And so it's easy for us to say, oh, well, we're digital, and so that's a little bit different. Well, the data says that it's not different. It's easier for people to read dark text on a light background. It just is. So that doesn't mean never invert your text, but it does mean that if you want somebody to read something, like a lot of something, think about that before you make a decision. So really, in my opinion, good marketing, good website building, good design is about the pursuit of this reality that we all have to live in, and that sometimes we know about and accept, and sometimes we avoid because of our opinions or our egos or just lack of information. The white text on a dark background is a great example. Just because you think something is going to perform better, it's not. That's not how science works. That's not how reality works. The things that you think and the things that you want are not the things that are real. Always. So that's what Carol was up against. There are tons of great examples of people online sharing these stories about how they thought it was going to be this one way, turned out to be completely the other way. And I'll share some of those examples with you, but the thing that I would, this is the thing I want everyone to come away with, if nothing else, that we need to pursue that reality. We need to be aware that human behavior is different than we expect. And so all the analytics stuff that April did such a good job sharing with you for the last hour, that stuff's really important because what you think people are going to do is so often different than what they really do.
Or even what they tell you they agree with you in that instance.
Exactly. So you could ask them and then watch them do it, and they would do something completely different. So that's why it's important to collect, to track what they're actually doing. So this is the reminder about the thing I just told you. Data-driven design is what we are working on right now. We're talking about using reality to inform our decisions when we're designing. And I know all of you may not have designer on your business card, but you're all designers. You're all taking business objectives and you're translating them into some sort of action that you hope somebody is going to take, right? That's your conversion. And then you're going to put them online. So you're designing that experience, and your ability to design it well and to recognize what people are really going to do is going to inform whether or not they really do it, right? That's your conversion. So, the more, I won't say the more data you can gather, the better, but the better data you can gather, the better off you are. So the two types of data that we'll talk about, this is statistics, basic statistics class, and I'll try not to bore you with this stuff. The quantitative data is the stuff that we were just looking at, it's things you can count. Google Analytics, everything Google Analytics is quantitative data. because the only way that's coming through is people clicking on things, people moving around your website. And so it counts page views, it counts time on site, it counts conversions. That's what it's gathering. It doesn't tell you anything about a person's experience other than they were here on this page for this many seconds, and then they clicked on this thing, and then they did this many seconds later, they clicked on this thing, and they got this far to the end. Not why, not because they were bored or because they went to have a smoke or because you are a bad person. None of that is included. Only things you can count. Okay? Quantitative. Quantity. Count. Qualitative data is the other thing, or the other set of things, the things that you can't count. So how did they feel when they were on your site? Why did they visit your site today? They had a good experience. Are they happy because they found your site? So all those little survey forms that pop up on the side of your site, or the sites that you visit, like, why did you find what you were looking for? Yes. Well, great. What was that thing? That's all qualitative data that they're trying to gather on you. And they're doing it because they want to, well, I assume, that they want to layer that over the qualitative data and then start to make better assumptions about what you're doing on the site. I like SurveyMonkey. I don't know if they have a plugin, honestly.
But they don't do like the pop-up like ask you questions during the visit.
Yeah. So full disclosure, when I say I'm a designer, I mean I work in Photoshop all day, and I know how to use WordPress, and I did WordPress years ago, but my day-to-day is not WordPress. So this group is the group that I would ask, what's a good plugin for that? So do you guys know of any good survey plugins?
SurveyMonkey, I keep hearing it is low one to use.
Well, if you're doing just a survey, but if you want to actually use our actually perform action, then that won't do it for you. You'll be looking at data after the fact. Kissmetrics does that.
So Kissmetrics is a paid service that you can subscribe to, and they, again, their whole tagline is Google Analytics is the numbers, and we are the why. So they're all about quality. There are free services that do it. I don't know. To put a pin in this, one of the types of qualitative surveys that you will often see is the Net Promoter Score. Are you guys familiar with this? Please rate your experience on a scale from 1 to 10 and tell us why. That's a number, but it's not something you can count. The distinction is important because you can't do a regression analysis on the aggregate of your Net Promoter Score, because all you're doing, you can get an average, which is important. Like on average, how do you all feel about my presentation so far, 1 to 10? Well, you could all give me a whole range of zeros to top. So all I could do from that, even if I got the average, is know generally how I'm doing, but I can't do any more statistics on that to figure out specifics about what you're telling me. That's a feeling, and even though you put a number on it, it's not something you can count. I've done that wrong before, so learn from my mistake. You don't look like an idiot. You try for hours to do math on things that you can't do math with. Okay, so those two things are important. They're important for best practices when we talk about conversion optimization. It's all going to come back to that. So if you have any questions now about how I find those things, ask me. Otherwise, we'll talk about more CRO stuff. So yeah, like I said, what is CRO? Some examples, some best practices. These tools and resources that I have on here are good, but they're a little outdated. So I'll tell you some that are better than the ones that are good. So CRO, what is CRO? Conversion rate optimization is basically changing your site to get your user to do the thing that you want them to do. So do more, right? Do more. So now we have a measurement of how many people are downloading your ebook, submitting your contact form, buying your on your website. And what we are trying to do is figure out what we can change on our side to make them do that thing more often and for more money. So there are a couple ways to think about it. The framework that I want to share with you right now is this. You've got a site. That's the property that you have. That's your. You can do it for pay-per-click. You can optimize pay-per-click, right? You can do it for I don't know. You can do it for your service business. When people walk in your door, you can optimize that experience. But what we're talking about is your website. So you've got your site, and then you've got the why of your site. Why do you have a website? What is your site for in the first place? So think about that. You've got a website. Why do you have a website? Don't say make money. There's something else. To look cool. For your band, right, April? You're a cool band.
To provide a message, to reach people.
To reach people.
To build credibility.
To build credibility. Yeah, that's a good one. What? Share knowledge. You want to be perceived as a thought leader. Right. All those are purposes. Exactly. And then there are things below that. These are activities that people do when they hit your site. So think about activities that somebody would do when they got to your site that would help them understand your purpose. Let's say share knowledge is your purpose. What you want to put on your website, it's going to help people meet that objective.
Use a blog post, use a website, use a video.
So watch videos.
Download white papers.
Find your white paper. Engage the comments. And
Have referral links because when someone likes to
move back to the inbound links. Yeah, all those are activities, things that you want to inspire people to do. And then events are, unlike the thing that April described, they're the clicks that happen that make that activity occur, that fulfill your purpose. That is the reason you have your site. So site, purpose, activities, events. And I'm sharing this with you so you have a way to sit down and think about what do I really want to track? What's important when people hit my site? It might not be the things that you think at first. It probably is. I mean, that very fundamental conversion, it's the contact form, it's the download link, it's those things. But there are other smaller things like watching the video, like commenting on your blog, that you don't necessarily connect with. That's my main outcome. That's my main goal. But by thinking about this, going through the process, you'll find some other things that you think, yeah, actually, I should be watching that. I should be tracking that. One sort of addition that I want to make to April's comment about events. Events are the things that happen on your site between pages, but Google Analytics will only track the ones that you tell it to track. So if you don't have script on your site that tells Google to track when people play or pause your video, that's not the sort of thing that it tracks by default. So you have to add that. So there are plugins and lots of great tutorials for that kind of thing. But if it's not a page view, it's not getting tracked. So here are a couple examples of, I just went through real quick. eBay, they exist to auction things. They're selling things. That's the whole purpose of the site. So what are activities that support that? Anytime somebody bids, that supports it. Anytime somebody lists an item, anytime somebody says, I want to watch this item, those are all activities that support the purpose of the site. And so you can think about the events that they need to follow along with, track those things. To bid, we need to know, okay, who they logged in. How long were they on the site before they logged in? But how much more did they bid than the last person? How many times have they bid today? Those are all things that you can track quantitatively that become interesting in aggregate. Netflix, right? The whole purpose is for you to consume content. They want you to binge watch as much Walking Dead as you can.
Yes,
right? All night, all day, and all night. I can't watch Walking Dead. I watched 10 minutes of the pilot. I'm just too serious.
yeah,
But again, activities. So anytime you watch something, they want to know that. Anytime you put put something in your queue, they want to know that. And they want to know what it was and what genre it was in, so they can send you more stuff in that genre and keep you watching, and keep you watching, and keep you watching. Right? So this is all data that they want to know. New York Times, right? It's just consume content and share information. So how many posts did you read? How many things did you share with your friends? How many comments did you make? Yeah. Site, purpose, activities, and then events. Another good framework that I would encourage you to check out on this is, I may mention this a little bit later again, is Avinash Kaushik is the Google Analytics evangelist currently. He's like the guy they pay to really talk about analytics. He's got this blog called Occam's Razor. It's fantastic. And his model for this is called marketing measurement and modeling, something like that. It's front and center on the site. But it lays out like step by step how to go through this process and how to go through it with the client to figure out your site objectives, figure out what sorts of things you can measure that will help you understand if those are being met, how to set targets, like actual numerical targets based on those things. So you can come back to your client after you built their website and say, look, you actually moved the needle with this. You spent $10,000, you got X number more visits. Now we can talk about ROI. Now we can talk about continuing to improve on this because you have baseline and because you've measured things along the way. Occam's Razor. OCCAMS. Is there an H?
Is it you?
No.
That was you.
OCCAMS.
The Occam razor, like
No.
that.
OCCAM.
Yeah, Razor.
Also written as OCK.
He's OCC. You, Carol, you're throwing me off.
Sorry, I thought that's how it was spelled out. Razor.
That's how I was.
You
I'm
put me on
impressed you
the
could
spot
pronounce
earlier
the
and asked.
guy's name.
Well,
Say it again.
I don't know if that's right. Avinash Kaushik. I practiced
He's
in my
not
office for
hearing
like
out.
15 minutes. Okay.
You can do a Google search for Google Analytics advanced.
Man.
He's the guy. He's written 2 books. They're both really, really good. He's good stuff. If you after tonight are like, yeah, analytics, like this is something I could get into. That's where I would go first. So we've talked about qualitative and quantitative, and the question is, what kind of data do you want? You asked, what is A/B testing? And I thought Carol's answer was really good. It's putting up 2 things side by side and showing them randomly to a group of people. Half of you get A and half of you get B, and then watching how you interact with that and seeing which one encourages the behavior that I want more.
It's like placebo testing.
What?
It's like placebo testing when they tested for drugs.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, half people placebo, half people.
Random control trials.
Yeah, so the random is important. The other thing that is important and that I really want to mention in this group is that A/B testing works when you have a sample size that's big enough to get conclusive results. This is the problem that 90% of our clients have, and the reason they can't run A/B testing, like some of the examples I'm going to show you on their website. It's just because they don't have enough traffic.
We need thousands of visitors, right? Thousands.
Yeah, if you have less than a few thousand a month, you are not getting enough traffic to get reliable, conclusive results on a meaningful time scale, right? But you have to wait. You'll put 2 things up, and then you have to wait 6 months to figure out if one was better than the other. And the sad reality is, most of the stuff that you're testing anyway, even if you have lots of it, the changes in conversion rate are really, really small. So waiting 6 months for a 0.2% increase in conversion, there are better ways to spend your time. We'll talk about that. A/B testing is a really kind of romantic, like awesome, like I'm a great marketer because I do A/B testing feeling. But the reality is that you have to be honest with yourself and honest with your client to know if it can work for you. and it comes down to numbers. Okay, now we're back to the data. I showed this to my 5-year-old son right before I came here, and he spent like the last 5 minutes of my time at home doing like the cat thing. Like, the cat's doing this. But, glad you got it. So we're,
exactly my week.
right? You're pretty excited. You can do it. You can do it in your swivel chair too. So let's talk about some examples of A/B testing. Why this works? Why testing works? So we'll talk about WordPress, the WordPress site that did it. 37 Signals, Etsy did it. This guy Dustin Curtis did it, and wrote a little thing about it. Here's some examples. So I guess I'll kind of breeze through. This is the one I wanted that I guess is salient, relevant to you guys. So WordPress, this is what the WordPress.com page looked like when they first started. Right, this was it. And this was pretty cool for back then. You know, you've got like an explanation of what WordPress is, and like, oh, the blog in a minute, that's cool. And today's hot blogs, and today's hot posts. So what, 75% of the page is like what's going on WordPress, right? And then that little blue thing in the corner says, join over 1 million other bloggers, start your free WordPress blog. Oh, are you already hip? Then you can log in here. Oh, here's some more WordPress news. Oh, and here's a blog. What are those things called? Post. Cloud. Tag cloud. I love you guys, but I hate tag clouds. So this is Robert Hokeman's story. He's a local UX guy. And so WordPress hired him because they were having trouble converting. So let's do the exercise. What is the purpose of WordPress.com? Why do they have this homepage?
People put their blogs online.
So people can put their blogs online, right? Great. So what are the activities that support putting your blog online? Signing up for a blog. Great. Absolutely. You need to know what it is. So informing, but signing up, that's the conversion. So on this page, where's the conversion? The tiny blue box in the upper right-hand corner. Does that feel like the most important thing? No, and we're sitting here like Monday morning quarterbacking these guys' design decisions because look at all this other cool stuff that is happening on WordPress.com. This is a lot of like humanistic kind of reinforcement that yeah, WordPress is great and it's big and people use it, and that's cool. That's an important persuasive element on the page, but it's not the thing that they want you to do. So they went through this design exercise, but the design exercise looked a lot like, hey, why don't we make that bigger and see what happens? Okay. And a couple hours later, Robert Hoekman, this designer, and the developer put together a new WordPress page, and they said, all right, let's test it. And so they showed it to a tiny little sample group of people who are coming to WordPress.com, and they had 25% more conversions out of it. What did they change? Like 75% of the page is still WordPress news, but it's obvious when you land on this, what is the thing that they want you to do? They want you to sign up. Express yourself, start a blog. They want you to start a blog. It's almost exactly word for word what you said. Sign up now. You need to know more about that? Okay. Hey, see our free features. And again, they had enough users to do a random sample, and that's like true scientific statistical A/B testing. But if you don't have enough users to do that, then put up a new page or change one thing on your page and then watch the data. And yeah, it's not perfect statistics, it's not perfect science, but it's checking your work. So 25% increase in conversions with one tiny change. The ROI on that is tremendous for WordPress. So that was the WordPress.com site 2 years ago. They changed it again. Like now it's Then it was just watch a video to figure out what WordPress is, or get started, or log in. All of that new stuff is now gone. And now, if you look at it now, it's even more just sign up for WordPress. Don't do anything else. Don't worry about anything else. Just sign up right now. Because they figured out, like, people aren't going to WordPress.com anymore to see what other people are blogging about WordPress. It's not what the site's for. It's not what the page is for. So they do the thing that the page is for, and now they get more signups. Right? That sounds really like elementary when you say it that way, but if you can be circumspect, if you can be diligent and disciplined enough to say, okay, this page is just for this one thing. I'm only going to put this thing on it. Okay, this other thing that I need to do, this page is just for this one thing. And people talk about click path and how deep you have to go to clicks, and oh, I don't want to have to click too far. Well, if you have to make people click 3 times to get them to do the thing you want them to do, that's okay. Make it easy to find, and they'll do it. It's not going to be a big deal. I'll share this one with you because it's another good example of the types of small things that you can test that make a big difference. So Basecamp, what is this? High-Rise. 37 Signals makes all these products. They make High-Rise and Basecamp and Campfire and all these other things that you're familiar with. And they wanted to increase signups on their page. So they're like, oh, I don't know, let's try a different headline. Maybe just that change is going to be enough to increase signups. So they changed it to 30-day free trial. Instead of start it and then below that 30-day free trial, they flipped it on its head. Okay, great. They'll convert more easily when we put that up front. Well, let's try another. 30-day free trial on all accounts, and it takes less than 60 seconds. It's easy and it's free. Okay, that's great. So again, this is just an example of people doing this and finding through testing instead of through gut or through committee-based copywriting, like which is the best one. I had an hour-long conversation today with a group of 3 people who are nitpicking the button copy on this page, and all I can think is it doesn't matter that you are the president of this organization. You don't have any idea that this is going to be any better than anything else. And the reality is I don't either. I'm a professional designer. I've been doing this for years, and I don't have any idea. And the guys who run Optimizely, like these great data scientists, don't have any idea until they see the data. That's not. So the more you can convince your clients of this, the easier it is to try things that are different. Instead of saying, well, you have the title, you're the highest paid person in the room, obviously you're the most intelligent. Not true. Rarely true.
I think the best one I heard on the was A/B testing makes the smartest people in the room.
It's totally true. It's totally right. Because who could have predicted that one is better than that one? I don't know. Maybe half of people polled could have predicted that. It doesn't matter until you get the data. And if you have goals, you have the data. So I'm going to skip these 2. Etsy tried infinite scroll on their listings because they're like, oh, well, put more products in front of people, people will buy more products. The opposite was true. So they had to undo all of this hard work that they did and all this money that they spent because they didn't test their assumption before they did it. Use your phone on Twitter. So method's your friend, except that it's not. Again, like you need a sample size to make A/B testing work. So we talked about qualitative data as well at the beginning. Qualitative data is great. We talked about surveys. Sitting next to somebody and watching them use your website, like say, hey, can you sit down? What? Yeah, don't tell them how to do it, but sit down and say, hey, can you find this blog post on my website? Hey, can you figure out how to download this ebook that I just put up? And then watch them do it, and then try and get over yourself as you watch them fail, because their failure is not typically a reflection on their ability to use a computer, even though you think it is. It's more a reflection on your ability to make the processes. If they can't do it, it's your fault, not theirs. It's humbling. Yeah, that's right. So here are a couple best practices. There's some great tools for spidering your site, like crawling your site and seeing all the pages that are on it. I like Screaming Frog. Download it, and put your URL in it, your like index URL homepage, and then it'll come back with a list of all the pages on your site, all of them, all the links, all the images and stuff. It'll tell you which ones are 404s, so you can fix your token, which is great. And then you can have this master list of all the pages on your site as you start to think about what is my funnel, what is the most important page on the site, how am I gonna decide what to test first, or where to start this process. Having that whole list is really, really useful, more useful than you expect.
Screaming frog.
Screaming Frog.
I think you can index up to 500 pages on it before it asks you to
Yeah, there's a free.
get this price. But 500 tickets are
Absolutely. And even when you buy it, it's cheap. If you have more than 500 pages on your site, it's probably worth $50 or whatever. Figure out what they all are if you need them. Crazy Egg was really, really cool before Universal Analytics got better than
yeah,
it
it's
was.
still 43.
It's cool. So it can do heat mapping, which basically tells you how far people scroll on your page and where they can spend the most time looking, which is interesting when you're trying to figure out why a page is converting or not converting. So this is a law firm that we did some work for, and this is their homepage. After they had done a lot of crappy stuff to it, you can see all that trapped white space over there. And so they, the lawyer was like, I need my seal of approval, and I need like this recognition that I got on the homepage. It's important that everything is on the homepage, always, right now. Talk about the highest paid person there, right? So the marketing manager at the firm did it, and then we showed them this, and like, oh wow, 100% of people see the form, and less than 25% of the people even get to your seal. If that's important, put it somewhere where it's important, but don't pretend like because it's on the homepage, we've met the objective. This is good data, and this is qualitative data. Sorry, quantitative data. They're measuring, they're counting how many people get how far. And then this is something that, again, Universal Analytics does now, but like click tracking, where on the page they click, which links they're clicking on the page. Little caveat there, if you have a page that has links, let's say your home page has a link in the navigation bar to your services page, and then it has that same link in the footer, and it has that same link in an image. Unless you put some extra code on there to tell us to track those links differently, every link that goes to the services page will be attributed visually to all the links. So it'll look like 30% click services here, and then 30% click services here, and 30% click services here, and the numbers don't add up. So be aware of that.
That's why I still use Crazy Egg, because
Yeah.
and their accounts are super affordable.
Okay.
So like if you had a donate button on every page, then you know which page they were clicking on.
If you had more than one on a page, you would know if they clicked on this donate button or that button.
Oh, but you could tell on which page.
Yeah. So this was my last bit of advice: sit next to somebody, talk to a real human being. That's the people that are using your website. It's crazy, but there are humans on the other end of those computers that are supplying these numbers to you. You talk to one of them or several of them, you can get a lot of good data. And granted, it's not again perfect scientific data always, but it's qualitative data. It's telling you what they think or what they feel, and that can lead you to ask good quantitative questions. That's a great thing about qualitative data. It lets you ask the right question instead of sitting alone in your office thinking, well, maybe if I turn the button blue, they'll like me. Exactly. Measure the right things. So again, this is the formula that we're talking about in Avanage. Is it traffic? Is it bounce rate? Is it clicks? Is it time on page? And all of the determination of if you're measuring the right thing or not comes down to what do you want to know? Because if you want to know if people are going to end up, we work for a golf club in Scottsdale, and they had this big PGA event, and it's like the big signature banner event for the year. It's awesome. They drive so much traffic to their website. And when they were done, this was a few days ago, their PR person calls me up and says, "Hey, I need you to pull an analytics report. I need visits and unique visits for the top 10 pages for our report. What are you going to do with that?" Those are great numbers. Those could be interesting. But when you show that to somebody, what do I know about that? Nothing. I know how many people have tapped the site and how many times they refresh the site to see a PGA report update. Can I do anything with that? Is that actionable data? Not yet. Could be, but those two numbers aren't good enough. And so the dashboard in Google Analytics, again, it's good. It's really good. It's not good enough if you're going to take action on it. So that's what Avinash whole thing is about. It's getting to actionable data instead of just data for data's sake. If you are going to run tests, run A/B tests, minimize the variation, and this next one's important too. Not that one. That is important. No. No. Gosh, that was farther down than I thought. Test at the top of the funnel. Run the tests where the sample is the biggest. So if you want to know where people are going to convert differently based on a change you make that change in the most populous place, because that's the place where it's easiest to get the sample. You'll see the change much, much quicker on your home page than you will on your contact page. Okay. Sometimes the needle doesn't move. This is back to the fact that you don't know any better than anybody else what's going to work and what's not. So you're going to put two things up next to each other, and the reality is they could be equally good. Maybe people do not care what color the button is, or where the button is, or if it's a picture of a lady on a scale or a big haircut image. Could be 50-50. And if it is, that's fine, because you've learned that that's not the thing that people are caring about. And you can move on. Don't break your SEO. If you're going to run two pages side by side, these A/B test pages, some of the ones in WordPress, some of the plugins for WordPress get you to generate two different pages, and then they post those in a place where Google can crawl it. If you're going to do that, my advice to you is figure out which one you want to be your real one and point the other one with the canonical tag back to the first one. And what that means is when Google crawls those two pages, they go, "Hey, wait a second, this is duplicate content. I've seen this before. I'm not going to rank this as highly." Right? But if you put the canonical tag and say, "Hey, this is, I know this is duplicate content. The real content lives here," then they really won't get there for it. So that's a meta tag that you can include on a page. And I think the Yoast plugin will do that for you. In fact, I'm sure it does. The Yoast SEO plugin, you can say where the canonical URL is.
If you're using that, you might as well just tell it to index that the addition page.
Right. Present the robots in the problem. The robots. Okay. So tools and resources. I gave you a couple. Avinash is great. The Optimizely blog. Optimizely is a service that is fairly inexpensive, $20 a month for kind of basic package, and it lets you run A/B tests on your site. It's really good. It has all the math for you. It tells you once you reach the statistical conclusion that yes, this is actually relevant and this is conclusively the one that's going to win or not going to win or whatever. But their blog is really good in terms of just constant updates on testing and best practices. This company, Brooks Bell, is a enterprise level website optimization company. That's all they do. They don't do CRS or anything else. It's all Fortune 500 companies that take their websites and then walk the people at those companies through processes of how to become data driven. And going back to that first thing I talked about, and this is the last thing I'll say, being data driven is the most important thing. It doesn't matter if you can't do A/B testing because your sample size is too small. It doesn't matter if you don't have a big user group, and so you can only get a hold of a couple of your users to have a real interview with them and talk to them about your website. What matters is that you've got the mindset that that data and reality is more important than your art project that is currently on the site. And so inspiring yourself to be committed to that idea, and then also inspiring your clients to be willing to follow you along that road, I think is the most important thing that you can do in terms of pursuing good data and good action and engagement. So, thanks. Do you have any questions?
Example, you gave it for attorneys, and they thought that they want that anyway. Were you able then to, do they buy the data that you presented, or do they argue that data?
The marketing manager loved it. The attorney was less in love with it. And his reaction was sort of like, well, you should have put it on a different place on the website. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to own that, that's fine. But you can't fight it.
But he accepted it as fact.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the benefit. This is what makes it no longer a battle of opinion or will or anything else. If you look at that and you say people still are interested in that, you're just ignoring the reality of what's happening.
You're in your ego.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's late.
Has anyone tried any WordPress A/B testing programs?
The thing I hear the best of is Optimizely. It's not necessarily a plugin, but I
They
hear
have a
people
plugin. It's $20 a month.
I hear
If you
great
have-
things.
If you have the quantity, if you have the sample size,
It might be something
Probably.
you could even do just for a time limited period and then maybe test something and then cancel it after you test it.
I think the $20 plan would be like a single site. So like what I'll do is if I find that I'll try something on one of my sites, I'll just set up that site for the month or something like that, run my tests, and then if I have another thing I got to do, I have another session to try out. You remove the other site, and you add the other site.
Yeah.
You just can track only one site at a time.
and like Carol said, stop and start.
And it's really
Yeah, the visual editor is great, so you don't have to know any code to make it work. So you can just click, change your type, change the color of your button, all that stuff. You can code it if you want to, but you don't have to.
So when Nick approached you and said she wanted those two statistics, and you said that she was going to present to the board, that was fantastic. So it seems to me, it sounded like from the way you were explaining it, that it's critical to work that, because then you've got somebody who doesn't really know how to explain that data, passing it along to the board, and then they're kind of making up their own minds as a broad professional to present it and guide them through it and tell them what it means and the other supporting data that's present.
Yeah.
So is that what you do? I mean, do you kind of take the reins then when you get a request like that and kind of work what you're headed with?
I'll usually say, great, I can totally help you with that. Why do you want it? Or find a way to ask it that makes it feel like less protected. I think a lot of people feel like, and I certainly feel like this sometimes when I deal with IT people, like you're overly protective about the thing that I want. I want access to
You just want access
credentials.
to your FTP, so you put you on the website.
Right, like stop pretending like I'm a hacker. The same thing with analytics. Like, I'm not protective of that. In fact, I read in an email to me, most of the web developers don't give this stuff out, but you think we can do our analytics?
Well, lots of people like hold it hostage. They if you don't pay them, then you just don't get your analytics account.
Which is completely.
It's wrong. It's your data.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely your data, but it's also against the best interest of your developers to hold that stuff hostage, unless they're totally screwing up and they've promised you that everything they do is going to be solid gold.
Right. And then you're like 0% traffic. And you're like, oh, I broke it.
So yeah, I think the obligation, your obligation, is to say, how can I help you understand this data? What is the question that you're trying to ask for the data? What do you want to know? Do you want to know about the purpose of your site and the activities that are happening on it? Or do you just want to check the box to your board of directors, and you're never going to convince them that data matters, and they don't really care, they just want to feel like they got the report. You know, and then you fight them about it.
I think the question really is how many returns versus new visitors we had when they had all the data they needed for that particular question. Usually it's not that simple.
Yeah, or you can get even deeper into it and you can say, well, yeah, these are visits and unique visitors, but do I know if this was one person who came 10,000 times and everybody else came once? Or did everybody come twice? So then, if that's the question, then I can use Google Analytics to say, these are the number of people that came one time, two times, three times, more than four times. And that becomes, and then I can segment that and say, okay, of the people that came more than four times, how many of them filled out the contact form versus the people that came only one or two times? And then I know, maybe that number is much bigger, and I know, okay, if I can just get them to the website 4 times, then I can convert them into a lead. And so that more granular segmentation is where Google Analytics really becomes super valuable.
Once you start tracking goals, you can actually see referral paths and actually how many times they came back to your website. So it's been really fascinating to me to see, where you'll track something and you'll see somebody come in directly first, and then they'll come in sort of searching for the next time, and then they'll come in through direct the next time. And I had a client the other day say, well, you really haven't provided any value for all the SEO work you've done because I sent that client to the website. I was like, oh really? Well then why did they look and read at every single page twice? Because you obviously didn't sell them all the way because they still wanted to read all the information. So I would argue that the value is there, but because they've done research and because they read all the content, that it's still they're still seeing value in that interaction. It's not just valueless because you sent them the URL.
Yeah, or because you want to attribute the conversion to the right thing. If you're spending $10,000 a month on a pay-per-click, so you think that all of the conversions are coming to pay-per-click. But it just so happens that most of those people started out organic or started out social, and the last conversion just happened to be pay-per-click because that's the top of the search results. That's a much different set of decisions that you should make with that information. Okay.
I'm so excited. I'm such a dummy.
This stuff is cool. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time.
I'll turn it back on.
I actually was wrong in reading your goal conversion report. You're actually at a 29% conversion rate once you add in the zone.
Cool. We were at 29%.
It's 29% conversion, not 6.
That was on landing page 1, right? That was landing page 1. Yep. That's the one we've been working with. All right, so thank you all for coming. Was this, I actually was wondering how many people were going to leave. Because you kind of have to be a special person or you have to be really interested in this stuff. However, I think it's such an important part. I mean, like if we are designing websites and we're not worried about how people are interacting or doing what we want them to do, if we're not worried about that, we're probably not building very good websites. So I'm so glad that like so many people stayed. Yes, thank you for staying. Was this helpful? What? I'm just going to get a little bit of feedback from you.
Well, I think
Yep.
I think it was very helpful. It was, getting the details. I mean, of course, that would be really data, but that was kind of like, and like,